Ma'am, you can get started. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining us. And we are all excited to get the session ready today.
Okay, thank you. I'm, very grateful to this platform where I come and address about the IPO, specifically for the SMEs. Reason behind it, in the world of 2025, we always heard this IPO is listed and this IPO is coming up. But the people who are eligible are not knowing understanding how they can come up and how they can manage their financials to come up and get their company listed in SME Founded. When I say SME, it's a simple understanding of small medium enterprises. You know, India. When we talk about India 2025, the government is moreover, enhancing a small businessman so they can get the benefits of a big platforms like SME IPOs, and later on they go merge to themselves into the main IPOs, main board. Uh, Before we starting this, I just want to share a few understanding to the when we talk about IPO. IPO is not a 1 year process or 6 months process. Sometimes it's a minimum 3 years of a process to get yourself ready for an IPO. Right. In today's presentation, we are going to cover a few of the regulations, which is important because jab tak, the, when we are not ready and understanding that which thing is, we need to comply with, we are into, India is a full of multiple different category of business person and I'm presuming also in today, seminar, we are having a different people who are, joining us into different business areas. But when we are going for the IPO, we need to follow the same certain pattern for all the business, which is different from each another. First, when we talk about, a definition, yes, small, medium enterprise, when we talk about the definition, it always change year to year. That's why I'm not putting the definition over here. And it's small, medium enterprises. The government has changed definition for this year. Earlier was 250 CR, and now it is 500 CR. The companies were making a turnover during the year. Few of the things are very understanding when we talk about SEBI means the Security and Exchange Board of India. When we talk about BSE and NSE, this is something which is people are very understanding. BSE Bombay Stock Exchange and NSE National Stock Exchange. ICDR. ICDR is a regulation which follow and guide us how you can, how a company can listed their shares and what are the guidelines to be followed. SEBI has formed it. The, Bombay Stock Exchange and the NSE, they both are governed by the SEBI. That I'm going by some legality over here is applicability, right? When we talk about a company can issue a specific security, is a post issue. Now, this is very important to understand what we are understanding with the post issue and the pre issue, right? Pre issue means a company which already have a capital. For example, a company is incorporated in January 2025 with the capital of 1 lakh rupees. That is to be understand a pre issue phase. When we talk about post issue phase, the company do not exceed 10 CR. When we talk about the SME segment, it's always be understanding a minimum, maximum to be 10 CR up to 25 CR. If somebody is crossing the 25 CR, they need to go to the main board. They will not be eligible for the SME segment. Now, how a person can identify how we are going for 10 CR and 25 CR. When we talk about 10 CR, it will be covered in the coming up in the other slides also. When we talk about the 10 CR and 25 CR, calculation of 10 CR and 25 CR. 10 CR is something, why, which is you're going to raising from the market, raising from the normal public of up to, let's say, up to 25 CR. You need to block as a founder of 20% of your IPO first. For example, if you're going for 10 CR as an IPO, you need to block your own capital up to 2 CR. That is a promoter contribution. Now, a company need to be mentally ready. Yes, should we are ready for 2 CR of a capital blockage or more than that? If they are okay with that, they can raise the fund up to even a more than that also. If the company, the founders are, well planned to block their capital, they can even go for the main board also with the fulfilling the other requirements. Filing of offer document. When we talk about the offer document is simply means you're offering to the public criteria, which was the price, how it is going to be. When we talk about the offer document, it is a very, very essential document in the IPO process that need to be drafted and shared with the SEBI. If anything, something is coming in the drafting portion of the prospectus, the SEBI has identify and can ask us to do that correction. Second, when we are going for the IPO, in the normal IPO, people heard, the educated people knew about it. We can, we get the allotment of big companies in the on the pro rata basis. But in the SME segment, the minimum allot size is 1 lakh rupees. What does mean? It means that if any investor want to invest in SME segment, he need to invest minimum 1 lakh rupees, and the lotteries will not be more than 50. The security issue as per the ICDR regulation, when I talk about ICDR regulation, the founder who still IV are not educated, they also going to be educated in the process of SME ICDR regulation. SME need to follow the certain guidelines, while listing themselves. A listed company can migrate its security to the SME exchange. Then the exchange, the platform of exchange, you know, sometime when the people who are attending my seminar today, we should understand that we are here for understanding SME platform. But one day, after this seminar, just Google yourself SME exchange. When you see when SME exchange board, when there is a platform BSC and NSC. When we talk about BSC SME and NSC SME, they are a different platform. These are smaller platforms. In our profession, we talk about a small fish and the big fish. First, small businessmen need to migrate themselves a small fish, that was SME segment. Then they have to grab a big fish with the main board. A listed company has migrated the security by filing a few things. These are some condition are there. When we talk about the SME compliances, the important thing, what is your board? Right, board means who's your director, who's your current shareholder. That is more important than any other compliances, because we need to go with this spatial resolution to be passed. This is the most important requirement for going for a SME IPOs. Then we need to go for eligibility criteria laid on the SME exchange. Now, what does mean? Fulfilling of eligibility criteria of listing laid down by the SME exchange. In the coming slides, you will understand what I really mean it. BSc and NSC, whenever you want to go your security to be listed, either in BSc or in NSC, you need to understand which platform is good for you, because both the platform have a different requirement to get your security to be listed. Then migration of SME board. If you see the SME is coming, right now it's being a 10 years, the SME is, popular in the market. All the company who has come for the IPO in year 2020, 15, 16, 17, they all are migrated to the main board. In short, if you understand, if main board has a bigger requirement to be fulfilled. Once you start filling full the small platform, that it's become easy for yourself to get yourself in the bigger side. Then underwriting obligation. When we talk about underwriting, this is very important for the businessman to understand why underwriting is important. Because now you are into very small stage, a small business owner who do not understand anything, whether your IP is going to be exceed or not. Now, the SEBI has a clear understanding. They should be 90 plus of your offer amount. For example, you have coming with the IP of 10 CR, out of 90% of your capital need to be subscribed. If it is not, that will be called as a failure of an IPO. For SME segment, main board do not have this option, but yes, for the SME segment, the SEBI has agree and tell 100% underwriting is important. That's why SME is on the process are costly than a main board. Costly in the sense they need to require 100% underwriter. Underwriter, what does mean? Underwriter person when the IPO is coming in the market, and if you do not find and public is not subscribing your shares, the underwriter is a person who subscribe your shares. And your IPO, the process you are planning for a year, 2 and 3, that will not waste off. 100% IPO is mandate. 100% underwriting is very, very important when you are planning for the subscriber. Second is underwriting. Underwriting is always a mutual understanding also. When we are talking about the other obligation is merchant banker. Merchant banker 100% in my practice scenario, merchant banker is one person who subscribe and who help the company to get listed. When do what merchant banker do? Merchant banker is the person who underwrite 100% of a share or arrange an investor for yourself. In the previous slide, I said the 50 minimum allotment, right? In that 50 minimum allotment, the person who is doing the business, he might not have the person. Underwrite the merchant banker, who's the underwriter, he will make an arrangement for the upcoming listed company. He spread the information in the market and arrange the investor for them. Then whomsoever you are approaching, the merchant banker play a very vital and important role. The eligibility criteria for BSc. In the previous, when I say ki SME segment, you can see this SME BSc. This is one platform. When I remove the SME, that's become BSc. That's called a main board. So that main board is divided into two parts. The BSc is divided into two parts. One is a main where the big company is already listed, and another is the SME one, right? Now the BSc has its own eligibility criteria. There are so many, but I only get out a minimum and which is important to be compliant. Net tangible assets. Company key net tangible assets should be at least 3 CR. If it is not, then you are not eligible for BSc. Net worth of the company, at least 3 CR. If not, you are not eligible for the BSc. Profit making track record, distribution profit of at least 2 out of 3 year immediate preceding financial year. When we talk about immediate preceding financial year, that is mean if I'm closing the financial 2025, then it should be 22 to 23, 23 to 24, and 24 to 25. If I'm coming my IPO in 25 to 26, it should be a profit making or a net worth at least 5 CR. When we talk about this net worth, if it is 5, then the profit making criteria will be minimized. Post issue paid up capital should be 3 and share capital will be maximum 25. 3, which means if you're coming with the IPO, you need to go beyond 3 CR. Eligibility criteria for NSE. Post issue now NSE BSE though both have the different compliances. If you want to go in both the boards, NSE and BSE, you can go in both the platforms. And if you want to first go on to BSE, then you want to go NSE, it's your choice. You want to go first on the NSE, then you want to go on the BSE, it's totally on the company choice. The post issue capital of the company, the face value shall not more than 25 CR. As NSC and the law says ki you can't proceed 25 beyond 25%. They're saying it should be 25%, which means as if I compare with the BSc, there is no minimum requirement. There always be a maximum requirement. Now they have come up with the profit making track. The track of at least 3 years. The applicable seeking a listing and the promoter and promoter company incorporating outside India partnership, they are conclusive. The promoter means a person who has holding of 20% and more. Positive cash current and from the operation of at least 2 financial years and all. They were saying in the crux, they are just stating that the profit the company is making is increasing year by year in the positive side. And other listing requirement, that was the applicant company share has not been referred to a board of industry financial distribution, uh, petition of winding up with the company, no material regularization disciplinary actions taken by the stock. The company should be clear. Company do not have any kind of pendency. Here I only just speak about the financials one, the courts and the disciplinary action. Apart from that, if the company is going, the all the dues from the income tax, GST, and any other department is coming up to the company need to be resolved. Key features of relaxed eligibility criteria need to be a DRHP. DRHP is very important document. This is one the draft, detailed prospectus need to be carried forward. Listing of trading continuously on the SME platform for the exchange. There is a one company, I don't want to name it. I just want to share a story over here. The company was listed in the year 2018, and later on the company is not so much, might be some dispute are there, something, maybe something, they stop trading it. If you are listing on the main board, your SME board, your purpose is to trade your company and get the company into the main platform. You are listed and you just want to be in the SME platform and do not want to comply and do not want to trade your shares, that you can be debarred from the listing, and that company back off. And it's become very difficult once you get out from the listed board and then you want to go again, then you need to comply a much higher compliances what I am sharing here today. Then immigration to the main board after 2 years. App SME, whenever you are listed on this day, after 2 years you can go on the main board. Issue to be 100% underwriter, merchant banker, or a 15% underwriter to be on the account. Appointment of market maker and a market maker mandatory for 3 years. What do you mean by the market maker? Market maker, they should be 2% should be appointed by the company who will trade the shares and make the company trading the shares and make the company share price will not go unnecessarily high and unnecessarily low. What does mean? If a company has coming up with the IPO of rupees 50 rupees or 55 rupees, and in 3 years the company is making a profit of 20%, 30%, and the share price of the company is going 20, 30, 50, 100, 50, maximum 50%. If it is going unnecessarily high, let's say company coming with the IPO, it's become 500. The company with the IPO within a year or 2 years, that the share price lay down by 5 rupees. The market maker has a responsibility to maintain the share price so that the investor who has invested in the company in the initial stage, they will be secure themselves and it will be unnecessary, not the loss to the public. Then we already discussed it. I'm just reading it up again. Minimum applicable size is in IPO is 1 lakh rupees. Minimum statutory advertisement. Low one line listing fees rupees 50,000. Half yearly submission of resulting insert a quarterly, and no requirement of publication of financial result. Low annual fees of 25,000 or 1% of market cap. SME, when we talk about SME, yes, it's come with some of the expenditure of yearly expenditure that need to be bear by the listed company. It is very, very, very lesser than what is the main board required to be paid. If you're going to the main board, it is, I think it is 4 times what I have written on the screen. Yes. Now we understand, that's what the rules and regulation. We understand how we are going to, step by step further. Appointment of merchant banker is very much important. Who's your merchant banker is very much important. A merchant banker, ideal merchant banker is a person who done yearly minimum around 50 plus IPOs if it is coming up. Then restructuring of capital, yes, the company, what the capital is company, and before coming with the issue, what kind of capital should come. If company is coming on the BSC side, then they need to raise their capital to 3 CR, and if it is the NSE, they need to comply with the maximum capital structure. Due diligence, I am going to brief in coming slides. Due diligence is very, very important. This is the stage where maximum company fail or agree to fail or agree not to go for the IPO. Appointment for other intermediaries, intermediary for who is your DP, who is your broker, who will the strategy, that's the marketing the part of marketing strategy. Then preparing of offer document, you need to have a proper, I think, okay, filing of document with the SME, issue, pricing, allotment, and listing, and the marketing. This is going to be a process. Pre-IPO due diligence, offer document, intermediary IPO process, and listing. It seems very, one, two, three, four, five, six word to get your IPO, listed. But let's understand the pre-IPO preparation. Appointment of merchant banker, a category 1 SME Act lead to the issue of the appointment of the legal. Then after, once you have the merchant banker, immediately appoint the legal advisors. Legal advisor is the person who's going to check your company all document. For example, a company is coming with the real estate IPO. In that real estate IPO, they need to check all the company document, agreements, land, RERA, construction site, occupant documents, every document need to be checked. This is one phase. Then the legal advisor asks company to, check the financial, the litigation side, other litigation side, company litigation side, everything will be checked by the company. The ROC compliances, secretarial document, huge document required when we go for the IPO. The legal advisor, who's the person who will check each and every document. Increase, then it is important, increase in authorized capital. I just, capital is something, the company start with 1 lakh, and according to 3 CR, if I'm just taking an example of BSC, and based on that, the company to increase its authorized capital, passing of resolution for further issue of shares of under section so and so, audit restructure of financial of last 5 year pre-year review auditors. It is a mandatory requirement. The company should go minimum 5 year of understanding. The projection is very important for the company, and that only drive the share price. Restructuring of board. In the coming slide, I'm going to tell you what kind of restructuring is required, reviewing the corporate and group companies. When we talk about, for example, a group company, let's say, take an example of Randhava Group. If I talk about that company, it is not only about Randhavas, it's about all the company coming under that group only. So it stated that group is authenticate or not. Then we come to the due diligence part. As a part of diligence, site visit in conducted, understanding of the business model of each company and business profile and the business activity carried out by its group and companies, etc. RFE research, statutory government license requirement by the issuer company to carry out the existing business activity. And this exercise would also help in bring your offer document appropriately. Then we come our offer document, drafting of IPO offer document for SME-IPO in accordance with the provision of SEBI, SEBI LOGR, SEBI SME, indicating the head of information offer documents. Capital structure, business overviews, objects of issue, outstanding litigations, other management, promoter and promoter group. I have already briefed about this in the previous one. Then intermediaries. Yeah, important. This is quite important also. Depository, who will your depository? Right, registrar, who will be your RTA, register to issue. Market maker, who will be your market maker, banker to the issue, printer and advertisement agency. These selections are very important for a smooth IPO. This is very, very important. Sometimes people just to check out the cost, they will hire a person or printer advertisement agency, and they you know delay with the things of their IPO process. Then we reach out the IPO process, submission of document and IPO process. Now this is the stage where what we have done pre-IPO things, then we are going to be a submission side. Submission of material document as per the SEBI ICDR regulation, dematerialization of shares of the promoter of the company. First of all, if the company is having its shares in the physical form, that need to be changed into dematerialization form. Filing of draft of a document with the stock exchange. This is very important, and that is a most hectic, most time consuming process is filing of draft of a document with the stock exchange. Once we get the approval, in principle approval, the relaxation happen, then we only follow the process and complete our IPO process. If I tell a practical experience, the filing of draft prospectus sometimes it take more than 365 days. Filing of offer document with the RSC for their approval, forms and application to be filed with stock exchange, pre-issue advertisement, issue opening, and the closing date. This is important. This is pre-issue advertisement of opening of issue and closing date. This is one time in the process of an IPO where the working of, like, let's say IPOs have the work of 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, seems to be a successfully on the stage where we finally come on the date of opening the offer and closing the offer. Monitoring the flow of the application kept in the real-time discussion with the management of the company. This particular time is something like, when India attacks Pakistan and Mr. Modi is always connected with the every Air Force. What is going on? Similarly, I also feel the pressure in that particular point when, we come up with we offer, we declare the offer, and we all are waiting when, all, application number of applications either we are subscribed, yes, it's 100% underwriting, but we want to see the real time if the public is showing the interest in our IPO. Now public is very much in, when I meet people, they always say, ma'am, if some good SME IPO is coming, please suggest us. And this is which means the market is very popular understanding, yes, SME IPO is a good time. Understand why. For example, Mr. A is a company who's listed with the price list of 35 rupees. After 2 years, the company want to merge. They need to gain the share price. Now, if the company is falling down the share price, that can't be merged to the main board. If the company merged to the main board and the share price less than 135 and 150, it's always a win-win situation. 2 years, no market price is giving such much, rate of interest. What SME IPOs are giving who are planning to merge in the main board, then it's a become a very big investment side for the investor who really want to invest it. Coordinate with the bankers and the register for deposit of the application money and finalization of the allotment listed in consulting with the stock exchange. Then listing assistant, yes, this is one time, when the people who are listed, they want to win BSC or NSE and want to bill it. So this is something bell on the documents. Getting the final collection figures from the ASBS bankers and the banker to the company. Finalization of base of allotment of shares in the consultation with the merchant bankers and the registrar of stock exchange. Credit the shares, instruction to the sell credits in syndicate bank corporate action, and unblocking the funds, and advertisement of the basis of allotment. Coordination and assistance in the interview with the stock exchange and listing advisor committee. Filing of listing application with the stock exchange. This is one full pressure and excitement with the pressure. Assisting in the listing formality and obtaining a BSC trading approval. When I say BSC, most of the our experience, people are more get easy in the BSC side. They go in the BSC. Some people go in the NSC, then we'll take the NSC word over here. Trading commencement within 6 days from the closure of publication, which means we do the formality within 6 days of the date closure. Assisting of the company as eligible for various parameters to identify the lead merger banker and significance of the engagement letter. Before filing the due diligence, this is when we talk about what kind of due diligence is required. One is important, the financial due diligence. the most consuming time is financial due diligence. That's it. Secretarial is took a year maximum for the companies to get them done. Legal due diligence, if company, the companies want to planning for the IPO, they are comfortable and they know it, ki the legal complexities is required to be minimized from the company side. Restatements of account, this is important. Sometime, our company come, we have a turnover of 1,000 a year, but they have a PAT only 3 or 4%. They could not go for the IPO. Our company said only have a turnover of 100 CR, but we have a 15% of PAT. The restating of accounts are very important. Turnover is important, but profit after tax is most important. What your profit after tax is more important in as compared to your turnover. And this is also important, key whatever funding you're raising from the market, what you will be do with that. For example, you're coming with the IPO of 10 CR, and after the IPO, how you utilizing that amount you are for gaining your turnover more. Compelling with the document and filing with the draft perspective, obtaining a legal due diligence report. This is important. Sometimes few companies engage two law firms to get this report to be done. Filing a draft perspective with the stock exchange. Then, who are the major observant after filing the draft prospectus? Stock exchange site, uh, visiting by stock exchange promoter, interviews by the stock exchange, and demat of pre-IPO shares. When we talk about the pre-IPO is a silent working. Once we draft the perspective and filing, it's become a public announcement. We need to do good advertisement with the stock exchange, with the newspaper, with the banners, so can the people will understand specifically the zone of the company. For example, a company is coming from the Maharashtra, that particular zone should be know that company is going to be listed. In principle approval from the stock exchange, then final prospectus, file a perspective with the ROC. These are the very important, because perspective is not only filed with the SEBI, with the ROC only. ROC means where the company is registered in that particular state, basis of allotment, and the listing and trading approvals. Factor determining market valuation, earning per share, turnover, and PAT. Earning per shares, yes, it's important. Turnover of the company is very, very important. For example, company having a turnover 10 CR and they are giving a PAT of 50%. That company could not go for the IPO and the PAT. What I feel the ideal situation for SME IPO, I'm just giving a figure. For example, a company is coming for the SME IPO, they should have above 100 CR of a turnover, and they should have a PAT more than 10%. For a good IPO, what I feel should be good. Practical difficulties are important to understand. यहाँ पर, this particular scenario where we also stuck with the company to take and guide them not to go for the IPO. Let's understand the first. Government approval are not in order. This issue generally arises when the details reflected in the government approval do not match with the other details. We generally look into the solution, the factual data to determining the reason for such anomalies, and according to the rectify the details. Second, all secretariat reports are improper. This is 99% in Indian company now. Having a very poor secretarial record, I don't know why, but yes, we need to correct them. Gradually, PF, ESI, and other labor laws. I am sharing an example of a company who has started, they are complying with ESI and PF for not proper way. The number of employees and number of employees reported are different every time. This is they are the road construction companies, like construction company has these kind of labor issues. If you are one of them, need to be compliant from the today onwards. Pre-requisition, yes, this is one important. You board need to, when we talk about IPO, you need to reconstruct your board. When I talk about board is something, that who will be your who is the founder of the company. Now who will support the board? Independent director. Independent director means a director who do not have any kind of link with the company. He will have independent opinion of the functioning of the company. Women director is very essential, is by the guided by the law and given by the law that person, the board should have a woman director, a company secretary, the chief financial officer of the company, and the composition of board. Now, this is very important. If any of the board member having any kind of disqualification, now we what we understand with the disqualification. Yeah, there are some criteria where the Act of Companies Act and the SEBI has mentioned if somebody is coming under this particular scenario, will consider as a disqualified. But in the extended way, when we talk about practical scenario, a director who is in the company is not disqualified, but he is in the company in any such company where is under the preview of disqualifying as a company or some non-compliances that should not on the board. Then there are other practical issue we face: non-compliance with the provision of Companies Act. Generally, these two sections, Section 185 loan to director and corporate loan. Most of the companies, when we do the financial audit also, we find a non-compliance of these two particular sections. Then we need to go for filing of compounding application. Statutory auditor of the company is not a peer review certified. Sometime now, the most of the CA has went for the peer review, but yes, there are few peer review firms. The company is getting audit themselves. But if you're going for the IPO, we suggest auditor who is peer review certified. Peer review is nothing. It is certified by institute. A rating you can consider is one of kind of rating. Company does not have a website and logo. This is very important. If you not start using your website is very important when we talk about the SME IPO, because your public, the audience will only understand the SMEs. Disclosure from their website. If any of you want to come to me and ask, ma'am, I need you know I need the information of that company when the company had disclosed. I just only go to the website of the company and the customer investors, and then I go what kind of company intimated and information coming on the website. Composition of the board, as I previously stated, this is a composition to become independent director, directors, and executive, non-executive director composition, CSCFO, and me. If it is not there, we need to comply according to the applicability. Litigation against the company, yes, as many. If you are planning for IPO, you need to. If you have a litigation, you need to have a properly secure. So can we can have explanation if we need it. Non-availability of sanction letter, a separate disclosure is made in an offer document highlighting the financial indebtedness of the company as per the last reported financials in the offer document, which require detail of the sanction letter. Sometimes company do have loans but do not have a proper document. If the company is in the possession of certain old sanction letter, the loan which is still outstanding in the financials of the company is required to be obtained a copy of the sanction letter from the bank. Consent and NOC from the banker and the issue of the lender. If the loan is closed, we need to take a NOC from the banker. Capital build-up and promoter equity. This is a very important again. What capital we want to, in the IPO, we just talk about financials and the capital, right? What company has the capital and company is looking for a financial. This is two things is important. Suitable capital structure to be altered by way of further issue and bonus, etc. This is, this particular slide is a personal slide, company to company vary. But in the journal, I just want to speak on that. Suitable capital structure, it depends upon what kind of IPO you are coming up, what is company having a pre capital structure and a post capital structure, is the proper calculation to be done and then a structure to be derived. Whether we need to raise that capital structure by further issue or bonus or any other way, we need to convert the loans to the capital. It depends upon company financials. Appropriate offer size and structure, fresh issue and offer for sale. Here is something that we need to come with the accurate calculation of what is the offer size we are coming up. Dilution of shares to be done in a phase, full disclosure of litigation matters, avoids superstition of profit, fair disclosure, fees, better valuation, complete intermediary and register, etc. Proper coordination and surgery between the company and the auditor and the company secretary team, minimum control center, decision making center, valuation of shares. This is again an important. In the IPO, you could not make your IPO valuation of 600, 700 should be a minimum one. Usually we see in 35 to 70 rupees in the normal scenario. NOC from the banker, consolidations of group of companies, mergers, restatement of account, site visit by exchange offer. Ensure that does not complete with each other. Personal interview of the promoter, have a proper board map tracks in advance, shares and dematerialization update, promoter identification and legal background, appointment of directors, avoid a decision which are adverse in long term and objective of the issue. Now it's become quite theoretical. I want to share one thing. Have anybody has gone through what is the share, what is the uh, latest IPOs? If you open a time you get and understand, if you open in the May, they are around 11 IPO are listed where upcoming IPO 14th is opening date and 16 is the closing date is the pharma company. And recently closure of today 14 has the closure of Virtual Galaxy Infotech Limited. If you see, they in the May till 16th of May, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 IPOs are already there, where 2 is currently running, 1 is upcoming, and 4 is closed. If I talk about the IPO in the month of April, they are more than 7 IPO, and March is around, I think it's more than 18, which means every month on an average there are 15 IPO is coming up. Now that the part of compliance, listed is not only the share listed, it is welcoming a lot of cost to your pocket, which is a half yearly financial result, where as compared to main board, they are need to do in quarterly basis. Shareholding pattern half yearly, similarly, main board need to do quarterly. Major corporate announcement, exchange in director, whenever there is a material change, major corporate announcement, ko I state material change, that material change need to be done whenever there is a change, you need to disclose quarterly, half yearly, and annual disclosures. But when we compare with the main board, it's like something the company should become a habitual with the minimum disclosure with the main board before going to the main board. Uh, I am done with the presentation and I'm
Mom, would
open
you
with
like to start
questions.
with the question answer round now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I would request all the participants, you can raise your hands now and you can ask one-on-one questions with Sumanji. Is there anyone who would like to ask any question, please?
Somebody has raised the hand.
Yes, Rohit ji. Very good evening, Rohitji. Please ask your question. Can you unmute Mr. Rohit?
Already, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, Rohitji. Good evening. Please ask your question.
Ma'am, actually, I just wanted to know about the valuation method. Basically, as the SEBI is calculated the valuation of the company. Suppose my company turnover is 2 crore rupees and
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, and net worth is also low basically, and the the part is of the cash flow is positive since last 12 years, but
Mm-hmm.
somehow the what kind of valuation technique I need to use to register in SME-IPO?
Rohit, your question is good, and I want to answer it. When we talk about profit or net worth, if it is low and not into the positive side, but you have a positive cash flow, then we need to plan first. We need to plan for this year to next year financials. We need to guide you. If you were to drive this particular figure in March 2025 for this particular thing, we are not going for the IPO. Then we need to plan for another 2 years to restructuring the capital. But at anyhow, we need to have a PAT, good amount of PAT as compared to your turnover before approaching the NSE and BSE. Let's understand one thing when we talk about the listing of security, it is not about SEBI, it's about BSE NSE where we want to list a security. Second, when we talk about which kind of method, we definitely go for our discounted cash flow method most of the time. And if we find the NAV, a book value is coming, is sufficient for us, then we go for the NAV. But as far as my experience is concerned, the evaluation method go for discounted cash flow.
Okay, and basically the some companies are calculating his valuation depending upon the 25 times or 12 times of the revenue or
This
profit.
is already
So
discounted cash flow better. This is the base of
okay,
discounted cash flow methods. That particular figures are on the basis of provisional of financials. In one of my slide, I stated 5 year of restructuring of finances. That is mean a provisional balance sheet. If the company is having a profit, let's say 10% only, increasing 10% or increasing 5%, then we need to
okay,
go with the provisional always be increasing. That could not be decreasing. If you think that profit and the net worth is not increasing, then IPO will not be ideal situation.
okay. So basically, if I will put the money in shareholders account to
Hmm.
increase the equity, but the company
Hmm.
revenue is same because I already raised around 1 crore rupees in company, and the company equity is same basically. Company equity raised, but profit is somehow increases 10% as compared to last
Hmm.
year, and
Hmm.
revenue is same. Basically, revenue is
Hmm.
increasing around 5% or 8%. Then
Hmm.
it would be possible that I
Hmm.
will.
Hmm. Hmm. This will go. If you do have a positive cash flow, but turnover is the same as the previous year, let's say let's assume a same one, but your PAT has increased, then we can go it. We have a more focus on the PAT of the company.
Okay, okay. Basically, that I need to focus on PAT, not on revenue and something else.
Mm. No, you should
Because
have turnover also. But you should have a turnover also. But PAT is very much important because just understand when we talk about the financial condition, and when I talk about I need a PAT on the 100 turnover, I need a PAT of 10%. 10%, let's say 10 CR. 30%, 22% will government take as a tax. If you as a good company is paying a good tax, in the end, what is that? If you're paying a good amount to the taxation, your company is doing a good pay, you're also going to be investing in that company. No? It's game the same way in our company also.
okay, actually, I just wanted to understand that if I have a low revenue and net tangible asset is also less than 2 crore, then is we are able to file for SME IPO or not?
NSC के लिए we can go, not
For
for BSc.
NSE, okay, 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 fine.
But just take
Basically,
my words on the basis of the conversation only.
basically it can go on projection of next 2 years, right?
Yes,
Not
yes,
for the
yes. We
current
need to
scenario.
plan. If you ask me the thing that you're asking me, that required a 2 years working with the company to get ready for the IPO.
The fresh capital also, basically the seed funding and all.
Seed funding, रोहित, what is the ideal situation? मैं आप सबको बताऊं क्या होता है कि आईपीओ के लिए कौन चाहते हैं? ज्यादातर वो चाहते हैं जिनकी कंपनीज में इन्वेस्टमेंट हाई हो चुकी होती है, 20-25% इन्वेस्टर ले चुका होता है. इफ आई आस्क मी
Exactly.
ना, बट नॉर्मल वर्ड्स में, इफ यू आस्क मी कि मैम एक बात बताओ तो कि कौन आईपीओ के लिए जाना ही चाहिए, तो आईपीओ के लिए उस बंदे को जाना चाहिए जिसके अंदर इन्वेस्टर बैठा हुआ है 20-25-40% ले, उसके पास कुछ नहीं बचा, देन ही नीड टू गो फॉर द आईपीओ. This is
Okay.
one situation. Second situation is that the company want to market itself. कंपनी के पास पैसा है, अच्छा पैड है, पर मार्केट में गुडविल नहीं है. That company go for
Exactly.
the IPO, right? तीसरी चीज क्या है कि कंपनी श्योर नहीं है, इज एलिजिबल फॉर द आईपीओ, इट्स नॉट श्योर कि वो मेन बोर्ड पे क्या करेगी, उसको पहले एसएमई पे आना चाहिए. विद इन 2 years दे कैन गो. इफ आई टेल यू द नंबर ऑफ कंपनीज लिस्टेड इन ईयर 2022 फॉर एग्जाम्पल, out of 80% are already merged in main board. Purpose वही है, right?
Exactly.
We need to study the financials. अगर आप तेरा को positive cash flow है, तो which means there is something which is, हो सकता है they might be high interest rate you are paying on, the high rental are going on, right? Which is keeping your turn net worth and the profit lay down. I'm just, presuming it, right? It totally depends. IPOs totally depends upon your balance sheet restructuring.
Got it. Okay. And one more thing, basically, अब अगर हमारे पास कोई आइडिया है और
Hmm.
फंड्स नहीं है स्टार्ट करने के लिए, बेसिकली हमें
Hmm.
डेवलपमेंट के लिए भी चाहिए, और सो
Hmm.
वो एक तरीके से सीड फंड हो जाता है, तो वो
Then you
उस
then
सीड.
that is not the IPO. Thank you, Rohit, to asking this question. Seed funding is altogether, taking investor in your company in the initial stage, and comply with that. But that is not the window of IPO.
ओके.
Seed funding is something that you are, proportionate of your capital giving to a particular investor and getting money in.
Basically, I just wanted
Then
to
use that.
understand, is there anything options where I need to approach and then I can get the some amount of funds? It can
Then you
be
need
a
to look
loan
for the
amount.
investor. You
Yeah.
need look for the investor. When you have invested, then you can approach us to do the compliances part.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe we can take another person if there.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you so much. But if you want to get in touch with Sumanji, you can get in touch with the helpline, and we can put you in direct consultation with her. Okay. So now we
Okay.
have Parvez ji. Please ask your question. Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks, ma'am. And thanks for arranging this nice webinar. It's really useful. So we are a healthcare company from Guwahati in Assam and operational for the last 10 years. And we have raised
Hmm.
PE money. And as madam was saying, we have already diluted 40%. And we
Oh.
are a social enterprise. So we are impact driven
Hmm.
and we are into eye care for low income communities. So I
Hmm.
want, because we were approaching merchant bankers in Kolkata and getting a lot of responses. So we wanted to have some
Hmm.
clarity. Madam mentioned a few points, but again, I wanted to reiterate. One is that
Hmm.
is EBITDA, there is EBITDA, there is net asset, then there is PAT, then there is free
Hmm.
cash flow.
Hmm.
I mean, what is the criteria? Some people say that 3 years EBITDA positive, 2 years PAT positive is important. Some people say only EBITDA positive. Some people say no, only PAT. Some people say net asset is important. Some people say, like ma'am was saying, free cash flow positive is very important. So there's a lot of confusion. So if I get a
Hmm.
clarity, it will
Hmm.
be useful.
Hmm.
Thank
Hmm. Mr. Ashok, right? No, Mr. Pravesh.
you. Dr.
Pravesh,
Parveen.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking me this question.
Yeah.
If you ask me, and I am the person who work on the compliance side, most of the time on the compliance side, I always see the conclusion is PAT. If you have positive cash flow, that reflected your PAT. If you have EBITDA positive, that will again reflect in your PAT, right?
Hmm.
Some people, merchant bank will like, हम ratio collect check करते. We see the ratio of profit and cash flow also. If you see the conclusion is PAT only,
So, ma'am,
right? And
point here.
if you talk
Sorry.
about the law behind,
Yeah.
the law is always says your turnover and the PAT.
Hmm. So,
If
ma'am,
you talk about the investor, your question is some maybe right for a few sides. When we're approaching the merchant bankers, now every merchant banker has their own identity to follow, right?
mhm,
They have a
mhm,
set of investors in their pocket who will
right.
say, yes, if it is beta positive, then we'll like this. If it is CSI property, if you have a personal interview and personal interaction with any merchant banker, वो ये बोलेंगे मैम सर खर्चा बताओ कितना कर सकते हो, बुक्स आपकी ठीक हो जाएंगे,
uh,
right? So there
ma'am,
is a practical and legal differentiation. हाँ जी.
मेरा एक मतलब because we were a PE invested company like Ankur Capital has invested from Mumbai, other like foreign investors also there. So we were always
हम्म
pushing for growth. But that
हम्म
we, for example, this year in next month we are opening another hospital. So this growth has
हम्म.
led to depreciation calculations being very high because of which because hospital में एक्सेस बहुत लगता है तो पैट
Understand.
एबिटा अच्छा होता है पैट निगेटिव हो जाता है उसका क्या करें
Understood. फिर आप प्रवेश ने एक काम करते हैं, just you touch with Sonia. I'll the merchant banker I am working with. Let's have a Zoom call with them. And I
Okay.
just want to have your provisional balance sheet or a get ready balance sheet or anything you can share with
We
me.
have that. We have
Then
that. Yeah.
I without any fee and all, because this platform is for creating a businessman a better understanding
Mm.
for the IPO, right? Then we should connect for a Zoom call for a 30 minute or
Sure.
40, right? And I'm also better to guide on your perspective thing. This particular guidance will take time on this particular stream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. You can connect with Sonia, and the Sonia will let you connect with me, and then we can arrange a call. And in this
Yes,
week
so
only, if
yes,
you're available.
certainly, Sumanji and Parvez ji, one of our team member will get in touch with you, and we'll, according to the ma'am's availability, we'll get you in touch. You can
Hmm.
just leave interested in the chat section, and we'll get you connected through, and then probably you can have a deep discussion.
Because Sonia, just take him because he has actually want to do something prospectively, but due to some lack of clarity, now he is not
Mhm.
able to proceed and not having a trust on. So we can help
Sure,
him
ma'am. Sure.
100%.
Certainly. Parvezi, I think you'd be interested in that. So I'll get my team get in touch with you after the webinar.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And I also shared my email ID on the chat
Thank
box
you so
as
much.
well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thanks. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Pravesh. We can have some other person want to have
Yes,
if
ma'am.
any question.
I see Mr. Ashok Soni there, but um, he has yet to authorize the mic permission. So I don't know if he's really interested to ask. So is there anybody else who would like to ask any question, please? You can ask right now. This is a good time. Ashok ji, if you can't, you don't want to ask directly, you can leave it in the chat section also. Other participants also, if you have any query, you can drop down in the chat section, and ma'am is there to answer. Ma'am, is there anything else you would like to, add on for others? Meanwhile, if they're preparing to ask some question or so.
Mm, I think either they understood everything and they really want to have some confusion on the side. the person who has attended and listened me, and if something is there for the IPO related concern, whether you want to going to invest in the Pravesh G IPO is coming up, or and you want to get your company getting ready for the IPO. What I have given it is more over a theoretical, and that is important also. Sometimes I feel this theories become very heavy on the head, but it is very important to understand that how the government make tough thing for the companies who coming with the IPOs, and the people who are keeping themselves, Pravish can understand this question. It's not easy to get yourself ready. If he is speaking to five merchant banker, five people has a different opinion. But yes, we need to get ready and understand what our thought process, what our financial state. If you are a profit making company and want to looking for a fund not from the bank, you want to looking for the fund from the public, the SME IPO is a great platform. Sometime, there's a story behind from one IPO state. They just need 5 CR, but not from the bank. They somehow managed to get themselves listed and take the IPO of 8 CR. And now they are, they have raised for 180 CR from the main board. It depends upon how you are planning, how our founders, strong founders of the companies are. And if it is well planned, well planned founders, well planned company, then a great IPO we will also see. And everyone want to part of a successful and big IPOs.
So very well said, ma'am. Unless you get into the process, then only you know what all you require to move to the other step. So I see few of them have asked some question in the chat, ma'am. It's Priya who wants to know
Answering
what
it.
is the minimum capital requirement for IPO.
The question asked by Priya is minimum capital requirement for an IPO. When I talk about the SME IPO, or if you're going for BSC, then it's minimum pre-issue should be 3 CR and maximum to 25 CR. What is the expense in the IPO? Expense in the IPO, if you want to understand, 10% of the capital raise, because it's 100% underwrite, and then its minimum expenditure will come. I joined it late, but I'm interested if you can share the recording. Going forward. Are any debentures available to SME for raising fund of pre-IPO? When we talk about IPO, we only talk about equity shares. Somebody want to go with some other security, they can go, but that will not consider. They are going to listing securities. They will not be considered as an IPO. Gosh, we have 4-year-old company, and our last year turnover is 5 CR. Currently, our turnover is 8 CR. We are planning for SME. Please connect separately. Just speak to him. Who is he? Mr. Chandan. Sonia, just speak to him what he really want a help
Now
from our
it's
side.
noted. We'll get him connected.
And I run a
Chandan will
digital
get you connected.
I run a digital product company with the globally operation platform similar to the Facebook. This a bit of 50%. Keeping in mind, we are recently launched the global job platform with a free, and also with him also, Mr. Kunal Jain.
Naljani. Okay.
If we say 50% is beta, which means he has a good pat. In its disappointment also to India, people of building up the legacy. Karnalshi, is better to have one Zoom call. I'm available on Friday and Saturday. Sonia, you can note down. Friday and Saturday, I'm available, right? And we can connect with these people on this Friday and Saturday, right? Then I'm looking
Certainly,
to
ma'am. After the
grant.
webinar, we'll get these connected and we'll let them
Uh-huh.
know about your availability and there,
Go
and then
from the
we can
government.
fix the time.
And whole India is not get through. Will be seeking alternatives. I think this question is Manish. जी का क्वेश्चन क्लियर नहीं है, and he's something looking for grant and something for robo and government. also connect with him also. I may, if I can help him, then I'll help him separately. But this is not relating to IPO, what I feel.
Sure, certainly.
Anybody who has any question relating to IPOs and any funding rounds, and somebody's having a funds and anything, just connect with me through Sonia. And if immediately, because this particular Friday and Saturday I'm available, and somebody want to connect, we can connect. Sonia, it's over to you, Sonia, now.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much. I think the topic here is so vast, and only the people who are really, really into it can only understand. Though Sumanji has tried to make it very, very clear and shared all the basic structure of it, that how does the process actually begins and what all litigations and everything is involved in this. So probably the actually interested people who really want to have some help, who have the sources, who know how this thing works, but still need some guidance, certainly please leave interested in this, and we'll get our one of our staff and teammate get in touch with you through Sumanji. So, it's just about that getting your queries cleared through the expert, which is beneficial in the longer term, that instead of just, asking for help here and there would make it more difficult for you guys to understand or move ahead. But once having a right knowledge, and then probably it is going to open the path vast. So direct contact and right directions will be really helpful. So I think we had a very wonderful and insightful session through Sumanji. So all those people who said they are interested and wanted to have a one-on-one talk with Sumanji and related to the topic, so we can get you connected after the webinar. And yes, certainly we'll be having this entire webinar uploaded on our YouTube channel, that is Udyamita Helpline. So, but in a day or so, after a few days, it will be there. So, who have missed it or want to have, you want to go through the entire thing once again to make up mind or understand what actually has been talked about today. So you can connect there and you can go through the video. And still, if you have any questions, again, Udyamita Helpline is always available. We have pinned down our address. We have pinned our email ID and number. So you can get in touch with us directly, and we'll have you talk to the experts according to their availability. So thank you so much for joining us from all parts of India. And thank you for this wonderful session we had with Sumanji. Thank you, Sumanji, for joining us. So
Thank you, Sonia, and thank you everyone who joined today.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much once again. And maybe meet soon, and we have another empowering session for all MSMEs on some new topic ahead. Thank you so much. Have a great day.